Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in this gospel, brought lift up the standard of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, wherever they may be. This is a lesson through the spirit. Inspiration comes from the elder brother, Waltazak, out of Cali, the head brother out there. Brother did a very edifying lesson about, being grounded in his thing and staying within the realms of the spirit, man. And basically not getting weak. Because, being in the flesh, for one thing, the scriptures tell you that the flesh is against the spirit. And the spirit is indeed willing, but the flesh is weak. So you got a constant battle of spiritual versus the fleshly endeavors of this world that's constantly and forces constantly trying to drag you out of the truth. And what I mean by that is like certain activities and certain things that's happening in the world, or whether it be your life or things you used to partake in. A lot of times, man, when you start to get fatigued in the truth, you will start to find more refuge in things you used to do. When you're falling out or when you're getting to the point that have no more fight left. And a lot of times it comes from brothers putting a time limit on this thing. And he made an excellent example, which I'm going to echo as well. When we all came, man, we thought this shit was going to pop off within 6 months to a year. Because you come in with a sense of urgency, It's urgent because you want to get delivered. Hoping that, well, look, man, you don't want to go through all the hell being tried and shit. Nah, every man is going to be tried. Okay? That's just enough amount of time in this thing for every brother that's of the elect to catch their fair share of hell, whether you've been in 10, 15 years, 30 years, or whether you've been in for 2 years. You're going to bear your cross, regardless of if you think you're going to get away from it, because you're not. So oftentimes we come in this thing with an accelerated mindset, which the scriptures say to hasten the day. But oftentimes we hope and rush for the destruction because we want the kingdom, which is not a, it's not a wicked thing to want the kingdom. But oftentimes we put our time frame on, okay, well, the Lord gotta come back in 5 years. Like the scriptures tell you, man, who are you to rush the Lord? That's going off, and that's when in the scriptures when the archangel, I think it was Uriel, the one that was speaking to not Daniel, Edris, if I'm not mistaken. And basically he was like, has thou hastened above the Most High? Because a lot of times, we want to understand things that's above our pay grade. Oftentimes we want things to happen on our term, and that come from being in a society that pushes intemperance and being impatient. Because in this society, everything is quick pay. You want fast food, go ahead and get it. You want an expedited delivery, pay extra, you can get it. You want things at your time frame, so to speak, you can have the convenience of that in America, because America pushes what you would consider a hasty mindset on us. So you don't really have time to think and to grow in this place, because you're constantly being bombarded. You're constantly on a time crunch. But Yahweh Shai tells us that the race is not given to the swift. Because the biggest mistake is, guys, they put a time frame on when the Lord's supposed to return, and then you get weak. And he even mentioned, and I'm going to echo it as well, when you put a time limit on this thing, pretty much you already setting yourself up for failure, because you got it in your mindset, well, look, I'm going to go this hard for the Lord until X, Y, and Z. And then when X, Y, and Z doesn't happen, then you mentally start to deteriorate. You mentally start to phase out, because you set that bar for yourself, man. So why the scriptures goes into having control over destructive thoughts, and the life and death is in the power of the tongue, even if you might not necessarily say that verbally, you're thinking it. Because this is a blood in, blood out thing. This is a life thing. And when you get in the mindset that this is lifelong, then you understand the endurance aspect of it, because being a Hebrew Israelite isn't a fad. Okay, it isn't a religion. It isn't something you just get into and then all of a sudden, once you get born, you decided to cast it off for another love. No, this is our heritage, man. Just like Jake, you put on the heritage of being so-called African Americans because what was labeled upon you. You live that black culture lifestyle. Well, when you come into the knowledge of being a Hebrew Israelite, this is a lifestyle. Okay, the Most High, when he rose up prophets, they were prophets until they died, man. Okay, whether they started speaking at a young age or mid age. Jeremiah, for example, the Lord called him young, okay, because he had a mission to do. Okay, certain men in the Lord, you don't, some accounts they don't give when they are called, but we do understand that every man that came into this thing didn't come into the wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the Lord, or the Lord didn't call them at the same age, particularly some men the Lord called mid-age. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes young men, teenagers, man, kids, older men. Everybody got their lot in this thing. But these men ultimately died without having the promise, but they died believing that they would obtain it. So this is just not some fly by night thing. And when you look at men that was part of this thing, once, man, they get weak. Then after a while, they fall out, they stop, the camps get shorter, go from 2.5 hours to hour, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, sometimes 25 minutes, no sit downs are coming out. And when you see signs like that, oftentimes that's an indicator that somebody's getting ready to phase out, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord, he'll keep you in this thing and he'll keep this thing going in order to get the undesirables out. It's just like with leaven, man. You get a batch of leaven and you shake it until all the bad shit falls out. And sometimes you have to go through a couple of sifting mechanisms to get guys out of here. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you like this. Nobody's going to get on that chariot by accident. Okay? Ain't going to be no mistakes. So if you got on that chariot, ultimately you earned it. And on top of that, it's because the Lord chose you to get on it. But it's not going to be any accidents. And there going to be no slip by cracks that just a random McNigga gonna get on a chariot because the Lord forgot. Nah, man, if you're gonna get on a chariot, it's because the Lord predestined it and ordained you to, and you've earned that right through the Spirit. So quick precept. This is the book of Ecclesiastes 9, and I'm gonna start at verses 11. It says here, "And I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift." Okay, because running a marathon, we always use this example. You can't sprint a marathon, man. Okay, if you try to sprint an entire marathon, you will drop dead. And a lot of times, men, they start off strong. And then before you know it, man, they kick it to overdrive. And then before they know it, bam, they hit rock bottom because they got tired. They got fatigued, rushing the work of the Lord. And you got to pace yourself in this thing, man. Certain brothers that do high volume work, sometimes they have to take a step back and kind of go into second gear. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to know your limit. Just like when you work out and you get injured. You can't work out at the same intensity because you may re-injure something. It sucks to slow down because, you looking like, well, if I do slow down, what if I get too comfortable here? What if I get too lackadaisical? It's a lot of what ifs and doubts. But if you have a good work ethic and the ultimate point of continuing to work out after an injury is to get stronger so you can go back, then you use the lax time to build yourself back up, man. Sometimes you may have to cut off videos you're doing in a week to get more into reading and praying and fasting. It ain't just about pumping out 1,000 shows a week, man. As certain brothers think. They think it's about, well, I got to pump out this X amount of shows. No, it ain't got nothing to do with that. Though pumping out a lot of shows is a good thing. And exercise shows more morale. But at the same time, if it's draining you and it's killing you, you have to take a step back and you have to go at a pace that's consistent but reasonable. You know what I'm saying? Even Goku couldn't fight at a Saiyan level 3 consistently because he got drained. And oftentimes, demons will fuck with you and mess with your mind and say, hey, bro, you're going too hard. You got to slow down. You're going to burn yourself out. But if you got the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah on you and you constantly coasting through this thing, then, hey, keep at it. But I've seen men come and go. I've seen men, my short time being in the truth, I've seen men in camps fall out the camps, man, and go do their own thing and phase out. I done seen men get kicked out. I done seen men just walk off and give up the truth. Like, nah, this ain't for me, X, Y, and Z. I don't want to do it anymore. Went back into the world. You know what I'm saying? And like it was nothing. And that's a scary thing to do because it goes into the book of Hebrews, the 6th chapter. You crucify the Son of Man afresh. Basically, you ask him to come back down and down the cross for you again because you decide to fall out the truth. But if you fall out the truth completely and you give yourself over to a worldly mindset and you start doing the things which are of the world, then the Lord has no dealings with you, man. Well, you may like, well, going down here, it says, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet the bread to the wise, nor yet riches to the men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happen to them all. So the point I wanted to focus on, It's the race is not given to the swift, because like I said, this is not about a race. Okay, whether you the first brother across the finish line or the last brother across the finish line, the point about it is that you finished. Okay, like Yahweh Shai said, he said all things are done. He is finished. You know, even Paul said it is finished. He gave his course. He's done his course. He's ran his course. He's fought the good fight of faith. Now it's time for him to be departed. I mean, when you give it your all, what else can happen? What else can you really expect outside of getting the reward? Because it's all about endurance, man. But guys are getting weak and they're not doing what's required is because, for one thing, you lack instruction. Second of all, you don't come under proper tutors. You know, like men that golf and do their own thing. Yeah, you may do your own thing for a short while, but when you don't have the guidance, or when you don't have the men over you to kind of help you out and push you in the right direction, constantly drilling you and constantly being on you to be better, then eventually you're going to feel like, well, shit, can't nobody tell me anything. You're unrebukable, and then you're going to fall out of this thing. You know? And then again, Esau was taking pages down left and right. Certain brothers may have not uploaded in months. You know what I'm saying? But even then, a month shouldn't be that long. You should have an extra page on backup that you can upload from. You know, and if anything in this truth, if you are in this truth, you should have at least have 2 or 3 pages on backup, at least. You know what I'm saying? A place that you can upload your video so we can be like, all right, this brother's still in the fight. He's still breathing. And ultimately for your own selves, because it's not, this isn't of men to be seen of men. You know, but if some part of the body is slacking off, we need to know so we can help recuperate that part so the body can act in unison. Because when you have a disease in the body, it slows the whole body down. Okay. Book of Luke 12, and I'm gonna start at verses. Let's start at verses. This whole chapter is good. It says, "Be in readiness." Okay, be in readiness. So Luke 12 and 35. It says, "Let your loins be girded about, and your lights burning, and ye yourselves like unto men that wait for their Lord when he return from the wedding, that when he cometh and knock it, they may open it to him immediately." You only can do that if you're engaging in the work. But if you left the plantation, or if you left the field and you left the doors, I mean, how was Shai knocking at the door and you ain't there to answer it, then what? That's why you just never know, man. Getting weak is not an option. Yeah, it happens. We sometimes do get tired. Your mind plays trick on you, but you have to ultimately renew that mindset. You know what I'm saying? You got to ultimately renew the mindset, because, I mean, if you that tired and you that wore out, which every man have their limits, look at the men that's been in this thing 30, 40 years. How do you think they feel? You don't think they're worn? You don't think they're not worn out? You don't think that they're ready for the destruction? But they fixed it in their mind to understand what they're a part of. And a lot of brothers, they get weak and fall out because they don't really understand what they're a part of. Okay, they don't understand the stipulations of being in the truth. They think it's good, just all about eating chicken wings and fight nights and game nights and all this other stuff. Nah. I mean, that's good and dandy, that's leisure time. But ultimately, you're in this for your own salvation. You see what I'm saying? You're in this for your own self, and to build up the hopeful elect. Scriptures say, work out thy own salvation with fear and trembling. You got to work out your own salvation. And when you understand the severity of what Yahweh Shai went through, you start to appreciate it a little better. Okay? And a lot of guys, they don't appreciate Yahweh Shai's sacrifice because they can't relate to it, because they haven't sacrificed anything. But in this truth, you will sacrifice, and you will learn to be the example if you're of the elect. Okay? Whether it's your health, whether it's money or finances or women or children or family, whatever means dear to you, the Most High is going to put that to the test, and he's going to take it away from you for a time to see if you're really about this thing or not. And then certain guys, man, if the Lord wants you bad enough, hey, he's going to walk you through it. He's going to put you through things that you didn't expect. But if you his, the Lord going to carry you through it. You know what I'm saying? Shit, like blind faith, really. Because a lot of us, we don't know if we going to make it. We just hope. Hopeful that. But it says here, blessed are those servants whom the Lord, when he have come, shall find watching. And how can you watch when you're not on your job, so to speak? When you're sleeping and you slumbering and you're using every excuse to not do what you're supposed to do, how can you watch? Okay, because like I said, I've known great men at a point in time that I just knew were men of the Lord. And where are they now? Back in the world, doing God knows what. But you ask these men, oh yeah, I'm still in the truth, brother. We just don't teach online no more. Well, what do you teach? Because the whole point about teaching online is to gather more people. I mean, yeah, sure, going out to the streets that gathers people, but when people can see your online content, they have something to follow and they can spread the word versus they not seeing you. Because back in the day, you had the whole thing, well, we ain't got no camera, but we out there teaching. You can't say that no more because everybody has a cell phone, smartphone with your camera. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been using the camera phones for the last for a while. You know, but Esau's been messing with the live stream. Every time we go live stream, it's blurry. You know, we may just have to bring out the old camcorder and do what we do. But regardless of that, man, you know, there's no excuse. And you got to really pray to the Most High. Pray to the Most High to give you endurance, man. You know? Don't get so caught up in this world, in this present world, to the fact that you just get lackadaisical because this present world has nothing to offer us. I mean, look at it, man. Look at what's happening. I mean, fucking JP Morgan, I think they just bought, they just pretty much seized like a major bank. It's like the second largest bank failure or something they was talking about. And I got articles on it. I didn't go overly into it. I glimpsed at it. But things are happening, man. Okay, bank failures. They're getting ready to reset this place. Coming July, they're talking about Fed now being launched. Now, how long till they establish the CBDCs after that? We don't know. But regardless of that, this thing is getting ready to crash. And then when it crashes, when a lot of you guys out there going to pretend like you've been in it, like you ain't been weak, you're going to get revitalized. And then the Lord is going to say, look, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity, man. Because I always said, man, Yahweh ain't going to be slack on delivering his elect. So why you going to be slack in putting in the work? You know? I mean, even every guy got different work ethic. I mean, but your diligence, it's a difference between not being as strong as another brother in the area and just plain on not trying no more. You could tell when a man is giving up and when he don't want to try no more, man. I mean, even a man's weakest effort is still an effort, but the fact you're still going. But when you just don't try no more, you just like, okay, this is what it is. Then it is like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? Just go back in the world. You're wasting space, man. Because other men could come back and take your place and do better. You see? But it says here, shall find watching, but verily I say unto you that he shall gird himself and make them to sit down to meat and will come forth and serve them. And if he shall come in a second watch or in a third watch and find them so blessed are those servants, man. Because you never know when your Yahushua is going to come back. Okay, even he don't know. But the Most High, this thing could just pop off in an instant. And now we're not saying that he's going to come back tomorrow. But what we mean by that is the fact that judgment can just start off any moment. Like the Most High could make something happen right now that make Esau force to pass the sea here. Right now, the Most High can do something so horrific on this earth to the point that Esau said, you know what, we got to go into the RFID mode. We got to have everybody micro C-hip by June this year. The Lord can do shit like that, man. Same thing back in 2020, man. That thing came literally, it was over there, and within weeks, it was over here, and the shutdowns came almost instant. Within an instant, it was literally like weeks, and it changed America for the last 3 years, forever, really. A couple of weeks changed this place. I mean, to the point, look at it now. It's completely fallen. In another scenario like that, this place won't survive it. And they're talking about it. So we got to be ready, man. Diligent. You know, just being on point. Yeah, we get tired. Yeah, we get fucking weak, but that should give you the more strength to continue to endure to want the kingdom more. Okay, because I don't know about, you know, you guys out there, man, but fuck that. We ain't come this far to just not get saved, to not get salvation. I refuse to believe that. Out of all the hard work you put in the truth, the sacrifices, man, people coming against you, you losing things, all that got to be for something. And if you this far in the game, shit, ain't no turning back now. You might as well keep going, because the key indicator to getting through this is endurance, man. It's just really enduring. And once you learn to endure and become resilient, then you have nothing to worry about. Because if you hold on to this faith, man, no matter what, the Lord is going to hold up that crown of righteousness. Because the only thing the Lord has said, occupy till I come back, which is part of enduring. That's all he said. Just endure. Okay. And it says here, and if this know that if the good men of the house had known what hour the thief will come, he would have watched and not have suffered yet his house to be broken through. But be ye therefore ready also, okay? Stay ready. Stay in a proper frame of mind, man. You know? And it says the Son of Man coming at an hour which ye think not, man. Okay, so we can't get lackadaisical. Okay, we got to keep going. We have to endure this thing. Okay, matter of fact, let's get this in the book of what is it? Shit. James. Yep, James 5. And I'm going to start at verses 7. It says, be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of Yahushua. It says, behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth and have long patience for it until he received the early and latter rain. Okay, it's patience, man. Pace yourself. Be patient. Don't rush it. Don't put, well, the Lord need to be back by 2030. We all hope he's back before then. But what if he's not back? What if the Lord don't come back to 2060? You got to have that mindset. For the longevity, you got to have this in your mindset. And look, the Lord can come back any minute, but what if he don't come back for another 1,000 years? And I'm not saying that's the case. Clearly, we know that's not the case. But you have to have that. When you set the bar that far, then you know something to work towards. That means that you can fixate it in your mind to say, okay, well, I know this is the case. I know this and this and this and this and that. And you'll put the effort to build up your endurance to make it that long. It's just like if you an Olympic swimmer and you know you want to win the gold medal, then you're going to be in that pool and you're going to be getting them lungs up, man. You're going to be doing them reps constantly because it's building you up for that big day, for that big race. And that's how you got to treat the truth, man. So my mindset, yeah, the Lord will be back soon, but I'm not putting the cap on it, man. What if the Lord don't come back to 2060? I have to have a 2060 mindset if I'm alive here to see that day. Okay, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he will come back that late. We know that the Lord is coming back sooner than that because we know through the Spirit. But that's in my mindset, shit, man. Lord ain't coming back until when? That means that I can have my mind ready to look, I'm in this thing for life. Unless I just do something extremely stupid to get myself plucked up out of here. Which, Lord's will, that don't happen. Okay, so you got to exercise that spirit, man. And it says here, until he received the early and latter rain. But be ye also patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh. Okay, remember, the coming of the Lord cometh near. And this was written 2,000 years ago. Okay, so how much more now? Which should give us all hope. And another thing, too, a lot of you guys lose faith. Like, this is the Roman Empire again. The Lord came on the scene during the time of the Roman. Actually, the Lord came on the scene during the fourth beast. If you really think about it, because when the Romans was in power, that's when Yahushua came on the scene. During this same empire, the Lord actually was on the scene 2,000 years ago. So if it says he's going to come back in the same manner which he left, will make you think that this being the last revival of the Roman Empire, even Esau made note of that. Even Esau knows that this is it. So don't it make sense that this place, what Esau has been in power 500 plus years, how much longer you think the Lord is going to allow him to destroy the creation? When you're seeing things getting out of hand, I mean, the violence is crazy, man. I mean, literally, and I'm going to do a video on that next, man. Basically, a Nigerian woman, she basically ate the fucking, the liver of her 2-year-old daughter, man. Stabbed her to death and started eating her. Like, we're in some perilous times, man. We're in some dark, evil times. And it's just going to intensify. I mean, people getting shot up, getting raped on the L trains in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? It's getting crazy out here, man. So we ain't got that much longer left, brothers, man. Just endure a little bit. You know? This is just a small affliction, man. Yeah, it sucks. You know, we feel like we got a lot to be burdened down with. But most of the shit we're burdened down with is the things that's going on in our own minds. And the heavy emphasis the devil is putting on us to procreate or to pro-navigate in this system, man. Because when you think about, when you take away debt, bills, you take away work, you take away all the heartaches of this fucking present world, then you really look at, you got the truth. The truth is very light compared to all the wickedness we got to endure, all the things we got to go through. Because Esau is constantly bogging you down with responsibility after responsibility. Well, you got to go to class, you got to get into accreditation, you got to get a job, you got to pay your taxes, you got to take care of your children. Then, you know, things go wrong within those areas of people's lives. And then things happens and then people get caught up. They get tripped up, man. It's almost like not eliminating stool every morning. It gets bagged up before you know it stresses the body and the mind. And that's what happens here when you're in this world. So it pays to not be overly engaged, man. Like, honestly speaking, my work culture, like, I'm a good worker, but I don't give that all I have, because my faith is not in work. You know what I'm saying? My faith is just not in that. I'm so detached from that stuff, to the point the class they got us taking for work, really, I'm just winging it. You know what I'm saying? And really, I don't even care to take it. To me, it's a waste of time. They give out good information, but honestly speaking, I feel like they want us to be too overly obligated to this work culture, when in fact, I'm like, I could just go find another job and don't do none of this. But, I know what the Lord is having mercy to set me up in these particular things, because, my foot problem. So, the Lord has allowed me to take a lesser role, a lesser strenuous role, so to speak. So I'm just taking it and I'm using it to my advantage until, the Lord builds me back up, making, a little easy money, so to speak. But that's just the point. It ain't that deep. This world shit ain't that deep to me, man. I'm just like, had enough of it, man. It's like everything is a turnoff. And when you get to that point in life, when everything is a turnoff, then you start to really focus more on your how about you and how was shy. But when you get to that mindset and even you start to give up on the truth, then that's when you're in danger. You stop doing shows, your camp's getting shorter, you're not going out there and speak as diligently, then that's when you need to start the word. That's when you need to probably go to the fuel station and fill back up, because really you're probably running on E. And if you're not noticing that, then that's a problem that needs to be fixed. Last precept, Matthew 24:13. It says here, but he that should endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Now, looking up this word endure, right? Let's look up and see what it say. It goes into hypomeno, which means to remain, not recede or flee, to preserve under misfortunes and trials, to hold fast to one's faith in Hamashiach, to endure, bear bravely and calmly ill treatment. So this tells you right here that we're going to have to go through some things in order to get to the kingdom, because the hardest thing is enduring. Now, if you didn't have to endure anything and just believe you was an Israelite, that'd be too easy. I mean, everybody would make it off that account, unless you're just extremely wicked. But no, the Lord said endure for a reason, because, hey, we getting ready to go through some things. And if you want the kingdom of heaven, you want to be glorified forever, then, hey, you're going to have to endure this short while. And believe it or not, brothers, the kingdom of heaven, man, it's something to it that we can't even put our hand around. All the time we joke and we make fun and say, yeah, what we going to do, but you don't understand the great of the gift that Yahweh has promised to. I think if the Lord was to really reveal to us what we had coming to us, it'll probably bug us out. You know what I'm saying? It ain't for nothing, man. We see, when we look at the kingdom, we looking at it from a carnality, from a carnal standpoint, from this world, from a third dimensional sense, because it's almost impossible to think of it from a fourth dimensional sense, because we're men in the flesh. But if we understand the benefits that Yahweh Shai has stored for us and what that means when we get in the kingdom, like tears of joy, then we will understand why the fight was so hard. You know what I'm saying? Why it had to be this way, why it took us so long to get back to this point. Through all the hell we're catching. Yahweh Shai knows something that we don't know, which is a whole lot of shit we don't know. But it's all going to pay off, and I believe that. I don't believe Yahweh Shai is going to give us a mediocre existence with his existence to rule forever. There's going to be so many gifts and treats, and this is going to be like a wild break-taking moment to the point we're never going to be afflicted again. Just internal life itself of being whole in a body, mind, and spirit is enough for me. But like, okay, shit, I ain't got to never get sick again. I ain't got to never feel like crap waking up. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to worry about some devil oppressing me. That's good enough. But on top of that, there's more blessings and more benefits, man. So just get in the mindset, man. Get in the mindset that you have something greater good. Don't settle for the mediocrity, man. Be perfectionists in this thing. Scriptures say, be perfect in heaven as your Father in heaven is perfect. So it's time to put on that mindset and believe it. But I'm in it there. All praises and glory and honor is due to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai. And with that, shalom and above the ball.